Hey guys, welcome. We are doing Wit and Wisdom today, lesson 26. So let's get busy. Our focus question today is, how does William use the powerful force of the wind? And our content framing question is, what do I notice and wonder about the boy who harnessed the wind? So today we're going to notice and wonder about this new text, which tells the true story of a boy who does not just respond to the wind, but uses it to help his community. Additionally, we're going to build up on our word work with signaling unknown words in the module, but by becoming word detectives as we use clues within the word itself to try to figure out its meaning. So with that being said, let's get busy. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, let me get rid of all this stuff like normal and get us in present mode. Let me move me down so I can put us in present mode. All right.
And welcome back to Wit and Wisdom and Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I'm excited to jump into our lesson. But before we do, let's make sure you have your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need your Wit and Wisdom and Sync journal and a pencil. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials. In previous work, you had an opportunity to reflect on the knowledge you gained and the skills that you learned while reading the text, Brave I Read. Today, we will begin a new text, and the text we're going to read is The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. While I'm reading today, you'll be making observations on what you noticed, as well as thinking about questions that you have. Now, before we get into the book, let's take a moment to review the big question or the essential question that we've been building knowledge throughout the module to answer. And that question is, how do people respond to the powerful force of the wind? Today, you will listen to a new text about a boy named William who uses the wind in an unusual way. And you will also have a new focusing question to help you explore this text. The focusing question for this text is, how does William use the powerful force of the wind? Okay, so let's get ready to get into the new text. Now, the question that will frame our learning with the text, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, is, what do I notice and wonder about this text? As I am reading, I want you to listen for a new idea about the wind. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the text. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. In a small village in Malawi, where people had no money for lights, nightfall came quickly and hurried poor farmers to bed. But for William, the darkness was best for dreaming. He dreamed of building things and taking them apart, like the trucks with bottle cap wheels parked under his bed and pieces of radios that he'd crack open and wonder, if I can hear the music, then where is the band? His grandpa's tales of magic also whispered in the pitch black of his room. Witch planes passed through the window while ghost dancers twirled around the room, as if 100 men were inside their bodies. At dawn in the fields, William scanned the maze rows for magical beings, then wondered as a truck rumbled past, how does its engine make it go? Pay attention where you throw that hoe, his father shouted. You'll cut off your foot. For all its power over dancing and flying things, magic could not bring the rain. Without water, the sun rose angry each morning and scorched the fields, turning the maize into dust. Without food, Malawi began to starve. Soon, William's father gathered the children and said, from now on, we eat only one meal per day. Make it last. In the evenings, they sat around the lantern and ate their handful, watching hungry people pass like spirits along the roads. Money also disappeared with the rain. Pepani, his father said, I am sorry. You will have to drop out of school. Now, William stood on the road and watched the lucky students pass, alone with the monster in his belly and the lump in his throat. For weeks, he sulked under the mango tree until he remembered the library down the road, a gift from the Americans. He found science books filled with brilliant pictures. With his English dictionary close by, William put together how engines moved those big trucks and how radios pulled their music from the sky. But the greatest picture of all was a machine taller than the tallest tree with blades like a fan. A giant pinwheel, something to catch magic? Slowly, he built the sentence. Windmills can produce electricity and pump water. He closed his eyes and saw a windmill outside his home, pulling electricity from the breeze and bringing light to the dark valley. He saw the machine drawing cool water from the ground, sending it gushing through the thirsty fields, turning the maize tall and green, even when farmers' prayers for rain went unanswered. This windmill was more than a machine. It was a weapon to fight hunger. Mujesti Amufipo, he whispered, I will build electric wind. In the junkyard, pieces appeared like rusted treasures in the tall grass. A tractor fan, some pipe, and bearings and bolts that required every muscle to remove. Tonga, he'd shout to the birds and spiders, holding up his prize. But as William dragged his metals home, people called out, This boy is Masala. Only crazy people play with trash. After many weeks, William arranged his pieces in the dirt. A broken bicycle, rusted bottle caps, and plastic pipe. Even a small generator that powered a headlight on a bike. For 3 days, he bolted, banged, and tinkered while chickens squawked and dogs barked, and neighbors shook their heads saying, What's Misala doing now? His cousin Jeffrey and best friend Gilbert soon appeared. Muli, Wanji, they greeted. Can we help with electric wind? Grab your pingas and follow me, he said, and took them into the forest. Together, they swung their sharp blades into the trunks of blue trees, then hammered them together to make the tower. At the top, William shouted, Bring it out! While the boys tugged and heaved. A crowd gathered below and gazed at this strange machine that now leaned and wobbled like a clumsy giraffe. Some giggled, others teased, but William waited for the wind. Like always, it came, first a breeze, then a gusting gale. The tower swayed and the blades spun round. With sore hands, once slowed by hunger and darkness, William connected wires to a small bulb. It flickered at first, then surged as bright as the sun. Tonga, he shouted, I have made electric wind. Wachita, a man yelled, Well done. As the doubters clapped and cheered, William knew he had just begun. Light could fill empty bellies, but another windmill could soak dry ground, creating food where once there was none. Majesti Aumtepo, electric wind can feed my country, William thought. All right, friends, if you need to, pause the video to stretch or take a quick break. When you're done, unpause the video. Okay, friends, what did you know about the text? Think. Now, share your ideas with your learning partner, or just share aloud if your learning partner is not available.
What did you notice about this text? Well, I noticed that the illustrations looked like they were created by cutting and pasting paper together. The illustrations were a little different. But I also noticed there were some new words in there, another language. Did you notice that too? And I also noticed that William's dream about making a windmill came true. He actually built his windmill.
I really wish I could have heard what you noticed. Here are a few things that I noticed. I noticed that the illustrations look like they were created by cutting and pasting paper together. I also noticed some new words that seem like another language that I don't know, like Tonga and Misala and Muli Guanji. Did you notice some of those as well?
We did.
Now, after we make observations about a text, what do we do next? What do we do next?
We ask
Share with your learning partner or
questions.
just share aloud.
We ask questions.
I'm sure you said it. We ask questions, and that's what we're going to do now. Take a look at the question words on the screen. I'm going to say a word, and I'd like you to point to the word that I said. Are you ready?
Yes.
Remember to point to, here we go. What? Where? Why? When? Who? How? These are question words that we can use to help us ask questions about the text. So watch me. Here's a question that I have. I'm wondering how William's windmill works. So my question is, how does the windmill work? Now, I want you to try. You'll generate a few questions using the question words that you see on the screen and share them with your learning partner or just share aloud. Are you ready?
Yes.
Pause the video to generate some questions and share with your learning partner.
Okay. So my question is, who are the ghost dancers? Do you remember when he's sleeping at night? He said they're in there with him. Who are the ghost dancers and are they real? What's your question?
Did you share your questions? I hope you did, because now you are going to write down at least 2 questions that you have about the text. Are you ready?
Yes.
Pause the video to write the questions in your journal.
Okay, my friends, now I want you to write 2 questions that you have in your journal. Now, this isn't going to be turned into me, but this should be in your journal. All right. So write 2 questions you have, because I know there's lots of things that I have questions about with this book, because this is a totally new book. So I hope you come up with some good questions. I can't wait to see them and hear them.
Did you write your questions? I hope you did, because remember, sometimes we can find answers to our questions in the text. Watch me. Remember how I wondered how William's windmill worked? I'm going to see if I can find the answer to my question, how does the windmill work, in the text? Okay, so I found the page where the windmill first begins to work, and it just says that William connected wires to a bulb. And the bulb lit. So I know the windmill makes electricity, but it doesn't really talk about how that happens. So maybe if I look at the pages just before the light bulb, I'll get more information. So here are the pages that show the windmill just before the bulb lights. Let me read these pages again. Like always, it came. First a breeze, then a gusting gale. The tower swayed and the blades spun round. I think I found a part on this page that may help me answer my question, because on this page it says the blades spun round, and it also looks like the blades are spinning in the illustration. So I think that when the wind spins the blades of the windmill, it makes electricity and lights the bulb.
That makes sense.
Now, I don't completely understand how this works, but perhaps I'll get more information to my question as we continue to work with this book. I am going to be listening for information to answer my question, and I want you to make sure that you are listening for information that might answer your questions too. All right, awesome first graders. Nice job making observations and asking questions about our text, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, today. Next time we'll continue with this text, but until then, be kind and do something great because you are capable of greatness.
Okay, my friends, hold on 1 second. All right, before we go to our fluency, I want us to work on some unknown words, okay? So we're going to be a word detective right now, and we're going to use clues from the text to figure out the meaning of a word. So I am going to look at page 7 in our book. All right. And on page 7, I'm going to read aloud a sentence from page 7. And it says, without water, the sun rose angry each morning and scorched the fields, turning the maize into dust. Now, how do we usually figure out the meaning of a word? We normally read before and after, right? And then we try to look within the word. Well, what I want us to do is I want us to try to figure out what the word scorched means. So let me read this sentence again. Without water, the sun rose angry each morning and scorched the fields, turning the maize into dust. Scorched. So I think it has something to do with the sun, right? Scorched, maybe it says turning the maize into dust, so something that's dry, making things dry. Scorched the field, so maybe a garden of some type, right? Well, let's look at the word scorch. What does scorch mean? Scorch means that it's dried up or burnt up. So without water, meaning it's very dry, no water's coming in. The sun was angry, meaning it was very hot that day, very hot. And it scorched the fields. It made them dry and burn up. So nothing could grow in it. So scorching means that things burnt or dried with the heat using the sun. Okay. So if I say the definition in that sentence, it would say, without water, the sun rose angry each morning and burned the fields, turning the maize into dust. Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it sure does. Okay. All right. So now with our word detectives done, let's go back and let's look at our fluency sheet here. We have a new one. Our fluency, it's called The Wind by James Reeves. I can get through a doorway without any key and strip the leaves from the great oak tree. I can drive storm clouds and shake tall towers, or steal through a garden and not wake the flowers. Seas I can move and ships I can sink. I can carry a housetop or the scent of a pink. When I am angry, I can rave and riot. And when I am spent, I lie quiet as quiet. Wow, that's a great poem, huh? Okay, all right. So that was our fluency. Make sure to practice that one along with some of the others you can go back to and reread, all right? So what I would like to do now is let's do some deep dive with some vocabulary. We're going to work with prefixes for just a few minutes, all right? So I'm going to call out a word and I want you to act out that word. I want you to act like you're reading. So if you're reading something, you're just looking and you're moving your eyes, right? Okay. What about writing? Practice writing. Or painting. Or telling. Right? Okay, well, today we're going to learn a new word that can change the meaning of these words. So this sentence from page 16, it says, in the junkyard, pieces appeared like rusted treasures in the tall grass. Now, the word appeared, I'm going to write that on the board behind me. So I'm going to bring my camera in just a little bit so that way you can see it. I'm going to write appeared. Appeared. Okay. Now, I'm going to underline this word, and I want you to tell me what you think it means. What do you think appeared means? It means like it's suddenly there, right? It's appeared. Wow, out of nowhere. It's here now. Okay. So that means to become visible, that you can see it. So what I want us to look now is, I wanted you to, let's look at the tense of the word, meaning verb tense of the word. So I'm going to change my color here. I'm going to use this blue. And I'm going to circle, well, maybe not. Maybe I can use the purple. I'm going to circle that ED. Oh, we've talked about ED before. What does ED mean? It's past tense, right? That means it happened yesterday or last week or last night, right? So it's happened in the past, okay? Well, then we've talked about a root word, and a root word is the main word. And notice, that's our root word, appear. And this is past tense. Okay? So the root word appear is what we're going to look at. Now, we'll learn a new word part, and the word part changes the meaning of root words. The word part is called a prefix. Everybody say that word prefix. Prefix. And it comes at the beginning of the word. All right. So today we're going to learn the prefix re. R-E. Re. Okay. So re means again. So I'm going to write again beside it. That's what re means. All right. So I'm going to add re up here to appear. So now we've got a new word called reappear. So I'm going to take off that ED, and there's our word, reappear. Okay, so what did we say appear meant? To become visible, and re means again. So reappear means it became visible again. It became visible again. So let's look at these. What about reread and rewrite? Okay, now the root word on each of them, there's read and there's write. Those are your root words, okay? And then I'm going to underline the prefix re. And we know re means what? Again, okay? So if I look at reread, that means we're going to what? Read again. I want you to reread something. That means read it again. Or what about rewrite? I want you to write it again. Great job. Now, I want you to do on your whiteboard with a marker. I'm going to give you 3 words that I want you to work with. The word is tell, paint, and name. Okay, I want you to change those words to mean tell it again, or paint it again, or name it again. So how would you change those words? Write those on your whiteboard. What would you do to tell? What would you do to paint? What would you do to name? You would add re to them. So now you have retell. That means tell again, right? And if I add re in front of paint, you're going to paint again. Or name, you're going to name again, right? Great job. Now make sure, that you put those also in your journal. Okay, you can put those in your journal so that way if we talk about prefixes again, that you'll know what we're talking about. All right, my friends, thank you for working so hard today, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, my friends. Have a great day.